Hey all, today we have the Kross Drona with us. It is a week old and we'll out and see how it fares against BSA Rodeo and Hercules Shurveer and some other bicycles that I've had to test in the last 1 week. So first off, we judge by the look and feel of this particular bicycle. It's pretty basic, as you can see, and it's well known as the BANGLA CYCLE in most parts of West Bengal. The look gives you a really classic look, and maybe bicycle enthusiasts might find this actually intriguing, but this is mostly for the working class and people of the soil.
Daily commuters.
And people of the soil.
So
we're going to see how it holds up against a little bit of load, and if I get an opportunity, So I'm just going to share my experience of how it held up against some load that I had to put on it, and and some field testing that I had to do. So I'm just going to put my reviews and thoughts into. So I'm just going to share my reviews and thoughts about how it held up against some atrocities that I faced while treading this beautiful road that you have seen. Not much that I had to face, but there were some. Like once I was trying to come back from the city, it was right around 8 kilometers. So the problems I faced, or how it fared in a tready, let's say a little more competitive and a little more challenging road than this particular one. So first off, it's of a army green color, a pretty preferred color that is. So first off, it's of an army green color. Now this color is preferred, and it has started to rain, so I'd make my video short. The army green color is preferred among bicycles of this range, and I'll give you a closer look. The gripper and handlebar seem of decent quality, though the right one is pretty fast, pretty firm on the metallic handlebar. The left one, while I had to ride it through the city, I did face that it did go a little off the hook, and it was a little bit on the flexible side. This didn't cause me any problems, and it is actually for a ranger rider and for someone like... Now this might be a little problem for someone who likes their bicycles to be really sturdy, but it doesn't seem much of an issue to me, because I'm a ranger rider, and I've had to, for a rider of a ranger quality, for a person who has ridden ranger bikes and straight handlebar bikes all his life, he likes a little bit of flexibility on this side. So it's just a personal preference that I don't seem to have a problem with this thing being a little flexible. The tires are standard Hero tires, as I should have mentioned earlier, that Kross is under the umbrella brand of Hero, and so most of its products might come with a Hero level warranty. The tires, as we see, are standard Hero tires, and like I should have mentioned earlier, that Kross is an umbrella. I should have mentioned earlier that Kross is a company under the umbrella brand of Hero, and they are a new brand of cycles, comparatively new to the market, and so their tires and everything should come with a warranty that is fulfilled by Hero. There's no problem with the tires that I've faced till now. There's a front reflector, which is of decent quality. It's right in line with the BSA cycles which is a little higher above this range. Yeah, so you can see they are really enthusiastic on flashing their new brand name. That is contrary to Hero. They have completely put this as Kross, as one particular brand under Hero. They really want to publish bicycles under this name, so they've put Kross everywhere. Like there's a Kross here, and there are stickers everywhere. So it's personal preference. I wouldn't like my cycle to have so many brand names upon, especially if I'm a purist and I feel like having a good frame and minimalist styling. So that's okay if you have just one particular brand, this monogram here. I don't actually prefer this particular thing here, this particular sticker here. It's okay, it's nice. It's reminiscent of the Hero Jet Gold that we used to have earlier. I would like to take a point away from these tires, because this particular feather, I don't know what this is, why they try to add a little bit of extra design to this. This gives me a real rickshawala feel. I will arrange for this to be taken out and add it with something like but it's a completely personal preference. And so there are reflectors here of the wheel spoke reflectors. These seem of standard quality to me. On the back of the cycle, this is just on the back of the cycle, away from the retailer's mark, we have the back reflector. Now it is advisable that every person that goes on a commute, even in cities, and especially on cities, and even on a partly village area like this, buys a external and a backlit tail lamp, and maybe probably ABS as well, because this is this is more like a reflector and it's not actually a light. Now the carrier has some dents and dashes, and it doesn't have a dent, it has some scratches. Now this might be this. I don't think it's a manufacturer's defect. I think it's mostly because of it's an added feature in our bicycle. So it's probably, since the retailer had added it to me, since the retailer has just added it as a complimentary feature, so they probably might have given an old product or something. But it does have a reflector here that is also a little wobbly. But these are like really minor features, and since this is not a Kross product, and this is more like, yeah, okay, we have the brand name here, Shah quality product, contrary to so many Kross stickers that I have here. Yeah, so this is, we can, though I had mixed feelings about this carrier here, it held up really well against some like medium weight that I picked up, like 10 kgs, 10, 15 kgs, that it held up properly. There's no problem with that. But since you're getting a new cycle delivered to your doorstep, I feel that maybe these scratches should not have been there. Maybe I'm just being too nitpicky, but it's personal preference. It's, as they say in Bengali, it's mojboot. It's pretty strong, but it's just not the prettiest thing. One problem I had faced when I had first received this bicycle was that this particular pedal, this was a little wobbly. This was purely, let's say, it was flexible from this end and it wasn't sturdy. So I had to take a hammer and beat it down here, and I had to take the help of some cycle repair personnel as well. We had to sharpen up this nut. I don't know if you can... Yeah, so one problem that I had faced when I had first received this bicycle was that this particular pedal, the left pedal, was loose, and I had to go outside and get it sharpened. As you can see, the hammer marks are here. This did not come when it was rolled out of manufacture. It's only because we've beaten it up a little. This should not put you off from buying this bicycle, because getting a loose one pedal loose here, it's pretty common. It's not considered a manufacturer's defect. It's more an assembly level defect. As you can see, all these scratches will not be there if you buy this bicycle direct from the showroom. It's probably because they have delivered it, and it might not have been there if I had gone in person and took it, but it was there. And yeah, so since we are here at the pedal, I am a person that prefers to lay his weight more on the pedals than on the seats, so or even on the handlebars. So for me, I'm a little more choosy about the pedals. This is a standard pedal, I'd say. Contrary to the Hercules, let's say Shurveer or Popular DTS, that comes with total metal padding here. This has a rubber padding. So yeah, you'd say that this is a little down tread from the Hercules Popular DTS, which comes at around 5,900, and this cost me just under 5,000. So they might have just cut the cost here. But then again, this is at par or even a little better than the BSA. Because yeah, the BSA gives us a standard rubber padding here. Yeah, okay. Yeah, this is why I don't like this. The rubber padding, they come off really easy. It's not going to affect the performance, and especially not to a regular rider. But if you're going on a long distance, I'd say I'd probably prefer the paddles to be fully metal, and that's just a personal preference of mine. Okay, and the BSA paddle is at this level, or let's say a little poorer than this, but the price of the BSA is about like 900 rupees more, so I don't find the purpose of buying BSA if you get a cycle like this. Moving up, okay, apologies. Coming up, I'd seen the brakes, and these look like, yeah, these are single double shocker brakes, and so yeah, they worked pretty fine. While I threaded around most of this road and some of that as well. And I traded around 5 kilometers, and they were mixed terrain. They were smooth roads, but they had bumpers, and they were going downhill. So the back gear held up pretty well. That's no problem with that. And the front brakes have held up really well as well. They are quick response. Yeah, that's pretty much what you'd expect from a Bangla cycle. That's what we call it in West Bengal. Like they get the basics right, and they get the job done really quick with utmost convenience. Since it has already started to rain, and as you can see, I'd have to transport this to somewhere else where we can review this in a shade. Okay, so I guess we are back, and after a healthy splash of rain, and I couldn't find a place half as good looking as this, so I guess we'll continue with our review. Yeah, well, so we were reviewing the pedals, and the pedal, as I've said, is of decent quality, and it's pretty standard for a bike of this range to have pedals like this. I'm a little more choosy about my pedals, so I was preferring the metal, a full metal pedal like this. But as you can see, there is a little bit of wear here right about this place, but it's pretty common, and this cycle is pretty much about hitting it hard and repairing it and going with the flow. It's a journey in itself, and it actually stays with you for a very long time. So you'd expect to take a visit to the cycle repair shop every once a few months. So that's not necessarily because the quality or the build quality or anything of the frame or anything of the accessories or anything at all is wrong with the cycle. It's just because it is a pretty standard cycle, and it is not built with one particular customer or a set of customers or any age group in mind. This is a cycle in its true self. And I'm being interrupted by a few. Yeah, so it's a cycle in its true itself, and it's a standard minimalist cycle. So in order to fit it to your needs and customize it a little bit to make it more utility cycle, so you probably have to go and make some amount of work done here. Like it's all good for me. I've taken a ride right now since our previous interruption. I've probably rode about yeah, probably 2 kilometers. And I was, I'd say, surprised by people stopping by. People, like, I won't say people are from stopping by from their KTMs or their racing bikes to talk to me, but people who are, let's say, roadster enthusiasts like me, they come up and ask me the price of this cycle and said that I've quite struck a deal when I got it under 5k, because this looks like something nearer to 6k. And which is true. I've done a little bit more research on the Hercules, Shurveer, Indra and Popular DTS, and the BSA cycles are more expensive than this. Like, let's say the Popular DTS comes with this double, full stable stand, but it is like 5,900. And I've mentioned previously as well that the BSA is a little, important part. The BSA seats are much less comfortable than this one. They're good to go, but I really found this area and this thing a little bit, hard to get used to. This is pretty much on, the seats are pretty much based on customers and their preferences. So some people prefer the, spring seats, which I do as well if I'm going out for a long ride. But for daily use, I think this is perfect because it's a more surface area, roundabout at this area, more width, and the breadth is also pretty high. And I think this is pretty much, it's good for even long rides for me. I find this at par when it comes to comfort with the higher end Hercules cycles of this range. But it does leave the BSA or even I'd say the Hero Jet Gold a little behind, because it's pretty I'm pretty pleasantly surprised by the amount of comfort I get in this seat. And the main issue with some people who are promoting from Rangers to, let's say, more basic cycles like this one is that they are not used to this sort of handle. And this is another manufacturing defect we are seeing. This is really not something. It's probably a lead paint or something. But this is not. You'd probably think that it's rubber coming out of the underneath, but it's not. It's some paint that I'm unable to take out right now. Okay. There is a piece of advice for people who are previously Rangers and
actually. Yeah.
Now there are people who are spending a hefty amount of money on cycles nowadays since it's lockdown, and they are turning into fitness freaks. And that is the same advice that I got from the cycle dealers that I've had the pleasure of meeting in the last, let's say, 1 month. Is that if you're looking for a cycle that is for maintaining your fitness and to substitute your gym days, this is probably not the cycle for you, because it's the main thing is it's
gym bikes are just different.
Like, people will say that this the handlebars are not designed as per let's say, even if you're a young rider and you're thinking about buying a motorcycle in the future. So these you won't see motorcycles with this style of handlebars. Okay, so the advice to young riders is like whoever is. Okay, I'm just going to share the piece of advice shared to me by the cycle dealers who I've interacted in the last 1 month. Is that if you're looking for a cycle to complement your fitness and like help you out in your workout, and let's say you spend 1 hour a day cycling in its like in a completely motivation area, in a more sports point of view. So if you're thinking about spending 1 hour, maybe 2 hours a day cycling in its more sporting and fitness point of view, then probably this is not the cycle for you. This is this is a work.
Use it for work, basically.
A cycle for the people of the soil. It's mostly for
putting and transporting objects.
This is a utility bike. It's supposed to get you through places, and
you should buy this over a sports bike.
Firstly, because of the handlebar design, it's different from that of a Ranger, and it's different from that of modern bikes as well. So if it's a very young rider, let's say in his 10s or maybe in his early teens, and you're thinking about, I'm going to buy a bicycle, I'm going to learn how to get balanced, and I'm going to learn how to ride a motorcycle in the future. Probably this is not going to help you as much as, let's say, a cycle with a straight handlebar. And that being said, these cycles are sometimes said that they are inconvenient for first-time learners. I did not think so. Yeah, okay, I did learn my first bicycle was a Ranger, and it was a Razorback a long time ago. And I did learn from that, and it took me a little bit, like maybe a few hours, maybe to get fully used to this one. Not few hours, let's say a few minutes to fully get used to this bike. But I found it that balancing and maintaining your balance in this cycle, this variant, is pretty easy. Like, it's much easier than a Razorback, and as you already know that dealers are really selling the MTBs and ATBs nowadays and they are promoting it as, oh god, the sound, please excuse me. Okay, it's nice and sunny now. Yeah, okay, so it's nice and sunny now. I'd like to share with you that the dealers are really promoting and selling the ATBs and MTBs, and those things are like really high priced. You probably have to add 10k to this particular cycle to have a decent ATB or an MTB, and I'm talking about big brands like Hercules and Hero or even, let's say, BSA. You'd get an ATB or an MTB for lesser, but I don't know about the quality of that. Like, Kross is also promoting a few MTBs. at the price range of around like 7k to 10k, and they are like promoted to be the fastest hero cycles around, and which is probably true because their tire radius is pretty lesser and they are much lighter than this thing. They are around 14 kgs. I am not sure about this entire weight of this particular thing, but it's certainly above 14 kgs. Okay, and so I'd like to share with you, like, since being
a roadster would help you out in the family and be convenient.
I'd like to share with you a little experience that happened to me a few minutes ago. Like, I was stopped while I was trying to escape the rain, and the rain had just been reduced to a drizzle when a few other roadster enthusiasts like me, like, they were overtaking me and they were asking me, where did you get this cycle from and everything, like, what, do you have double spokes or not? Yeah, okay, so this has dual spokes, I forgot to mention that. And whether or not, like, how much did it cost and how was it low maintenance or not, it's pretty good. So this is a pleasant surprise for me, because I was first a little skeptic about the handlebars and the pedals and the added accessories like the carrier, but it's a decent paint job, and the frames they are built to last for a lifetime. And so I do see that so I'm not getting eyeballs or head turns from bikers and people coming out of their KTMs to ask me what this is, but I do see people
more down to earth, okay?
Down to earth. They are appreciating this cycle as I pass them. So I'd say this is a pretty decent investment if you're trying to
cheaper than the rest.
So I'd say this does turn a few heads, and it brings a smile to your face. It's a poor man's Royal Enfield or a Vespa, people might say, but as the cycle dealers nowadays, the cycle dealers nowadays try to promote ATVs and MTBs over these cycles. It's pretty understandable. People are going green, but not in that sense that they'd substitute their usual daily commutes with a bicycle. People usually buy a bicycle for their fitness, and there are better cycles than this in that particular region for that particular criteria. But that being said, I found this cycle really easy to ride and really good to balance with. I think I've mentioned before that even where there was a wet road like this, while I was treading through a wet road and I hit a few speed breakers and a ditch, and if it was my previous B-twin, like Decathlon B-twin, it probably would have given me a little tougher time than I had to face with this to rebalance. Yeah, so my advice, if you're going out to buy a roadster, a commuter, a cycle of convenience, then probably this is the bike for you, because it is cheaper than the Hercules and the BSA bikes. And as you can see, this looks like it's top of the range. Yeah, it does not have the complete chain cover, but in my personal preference, I do like it. I do like the chain cover to not be there, because I'm more like if the chain goes off, then I'm more into fixing it myself. So I find it pretty convenient that it has a half chain cover and a mudguard. These things are pretty well built. I don't find any issues with it other than this thing. Okay, so